Hi there, everybody, and welcome to episode number 65 of the Pop Culture Gamers podcast. My name's Haydn, and I'm here, as I have been for the last few years, with my good friend Steve. Steve, how are you, mate?
Yes, happy Groundhog Day, I think it is today, by the way.
Is it Groundhog Day?
It is, 2nd of Feb, it's Punxsutawney's going to be popping out.
Yeah, I wonder if Bill Murray will still be sticking on the same day for ages. Do you know what? I watched that over Christmas as well. I've forgotten how much of a good movie it was. The only problem was I ended up watching it about 10 times, and it did kind of feel like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, no, it can be like that. But yeah, so I'm assuming the Americans do actually celebrate Groundhog Day, believe it or not. And
yeah, there is
a rodent that somewhere they take out. Whether or not it's actually in the same place, but, you know.
I have no idea, but it's part of American culture, though, isn't it?
Yeah, and also today is the Super Bowl, so these Americans will be barbecuing their meat to their blue in the face, and they'll be drinking as well. So.
Oh, well, no doubt there'll be a load of film trailers and stuff like that as well, won't there?
Possibly,
on
yeah.
Super Bowl days, yeah. So we'll have to keep a lookout for that. Thinking of trailers, Steve, and we've just been having a talk beforehand, but you haven't seen the new Discovery Season 3 trailer. I'll say you've got to look at that, mate. It looks really good.
Yes, I'm sure. Has it got a release date?
No, I haven't seen a release date, but the trailer, if you look at the trailer, it just shows you some of the stuff that's going to happen, obviously, in the next season. And there's some interesting stuff in there, which there'll be more about that in the Picard podcast when Alan and I record it tomorrow. So, because I'm going to bring some of that in, because obviously it's linking, I think, to some of what's happening in Picard now. So anyway, Steve, what's been happening with you? Because we haven't talked for a week. It seems to be the norm these days. We message each other, but we haven't really sat down and talked. We don't
sit and chat, do we? No, we're complete. Well, you're an insomniac, and I'm, sort of, depends really, because obviously I was on nights last week, so
yeah, so it's not. Go on.
I was out working from 7 in the evening until 4 in the morning.
Yeah,
running around the country, and then sleeping until about till about lunchtime.
Yeah,
but I have to wake up at 7:30 with my alarm to book on with my work phone, so I get paid. So I have to actually book on to kick the timesheet off.
It's ridiculous, that.
I know. My missus said that to me. She said, "Why you having to wake up, break your sleep to get up?" I said, "Well, I just have to do it," and But
I'm sure they'll sort something out eventually. We're going to look at
it. I don't mind doing this once a month. We've been doing it the last 2 months now, 2-3 months. And talking to my supervisor, I've been sort of winking in his and whispering in his ear. I think, should we do this a regular thing? And if so, we want to put a proposal forward for how we should be paid.
Yeah.
So. There is that. We're looking into that, so because we do a few hours, and it does help pay the bills. But
I do know from what you've been saying, though, it's been really knackering for you as well.
Oh, I mean, I don't mind, but it's just I haven't switched around yet. I mean, I was up till 4 in the morning Friday. Saturday, I was up till 2, but I just laid in the bed counting the digits of flecks of white on the ceiling because I was still wide awake.
Yeah.
But I've got to try and go to bed to get up for 7, get up for 6:30 tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And do a proper days and try and kick that back in, and I'll be on call later in the week. So it's all crazy. But other than that, yeah, other things. See, there hasn't been a lot going on, even though we've had a few bits and pieces. But, I mean, I was talking to the guys, I think it was Alan Cochrane, that Ultimate Game Pass thing we were talking about on Facebook?
Yeah.
And there was one there for Amazon, but that was unavailable. But Smiths, is it Smythes? Smiths or Smythes, isn't it?
Smiths. It's Smiths.
Okay, they've got it on at the moment.
All right, okay.
So you get 3 months plus 3 months.
Yeah.
And when you go into Xbox Live to submit the codes on the 505, they ask you if you leave the auto renewal on, we'll give you an extra month.
Yeah, so you get 7 months.
Yeah, so I'm now all good till June 2021.
Cool.
So that's cool. No, don't care about PlayStation a minute because it doesn't work the same way. The demographic of that.
No, well, other than playing Destiny, you don't really do a lot of PlayStation that much.
Well, I was on PlayStation today because I do switch between the two rooms. So I was on.
Yeah.
This morning I was on the Xbox, and this afternoon for a little bit I was on the PlayStation playing, grinding the same character for whatever reason, I don't know, but we'll.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were updating it again.
No. I did the updates for the. Well, we'll talk about that later anyway, because I've got a couple of questions about Destiny at the moment and how it lies with what it's doing. But
okay. So there's some interesting stuff about getting ready for the reset, isn't there, as well? And about the public event that is going to be going on for the rest of this season.
Okay, well, you can remind me about that, because I might have missed a few bits and pieces. As much as I am trying to be rife on Twitter, sometimes I miss a lot of stuff if I'm midnight. So I did sort of a little bit of vinyl. I do have now the trilogy, because Record Store Day last year I was able to pick up Michael Giacchino's Star Trek 2009 soundtrack. Mm-hmm. And now I have Into Darkness and Beyond as well. And they're fantastic pieces of music. I really do like his take on Star Trek and how he's now cemented that music in all three movies. And if they do carry on, as we said earlier, I'd like to see him do a fourth one. So they would continue it on. Because I think it works well now that they've cemented the characters and the music is all the same thing. So it's just a continuous flow through three films. Even though the three films have got their own highs and lows, don't get me wrong. We've all got our worst and middle and favourite out of the three. But yeah, no, I just want more Star Trek on the cinema. Yeah,
I mean, it's interesting actually, because a lot of people say that Into Darkness was the worst one.
But it's not, actually.
It's not actually, no. Beyond actually was the worst performing movie.
Yeah, and actually I think I would rate them in release, to be honest.
Release order, yeah.
I think that's the way to go. Even though as much as some hardcore Trekkies, I mean, we're all the same, but they think that it's a bit of a plagiarism on using the Star Trek 2 with Khan and all of that. But that's by the by. But I just enjoyed it, and it was nice to this week to sit back and watch some of the making of for it. Mm. And I got that on the I got the 4K trilogy box set, and on the Blu-ray version, because there's 2 discs of each, so you got 6 discs. Yeah. So the extras were on the Blu-ray discs, and you didn't realise there was quite a few practical effects in those movies, especially the one I was watching, Into Darkness, especially with building the Klingon homeworld and stuff like that. It's all, a lot of that was made of polystyrene, all those rocks that Benedict Cumberbatch was flying around on wires for during the fight scenes there. But
and
it's great.
Well, I have to admit, I love all three of them, but I would say, if push comes to shove, my favourite one is actually Into Darkness. Mm. Although I think that the first one is a better movie. There's something about the way that they took the Khan storyline and flipped bits of it.
Well,
I quite liked that. It appealed to me. I
mean, some people said that, why didn't you just get it out there in production that that's his character and not John Harrison? But it's like a little surprise nugget that I think I even knew before I watched it in the cinema.
Oh, yeah,
Don't
so
ask
did
me
I.
How,
yeah.
But it came out.
Oh, it was rife. It was rife. And the problem was Benedict Cumberbatch being Khan. Khan was supposed to be like, Middle Eastern sort of guy, wasn't he? Mm. And, Ricardo Montalban was barely that, because it was like more like Latin rather, or Greek, the sort of
Latino look, isn't it?
Yeah, but you could sort of like forgive that a little bit. But in terms of Benedict Cumberbatch, and do you know who Benedict Cumberbatch's mother is?
I do know. I can't think off the top of my head.
She was on UFO. She was on that. Yeah. And because I never realised that, because obviously I've got a big UFO poster in my room.
Mm. She's on it.
She's on it. Yeah. It's sort of like, when I found out, that's Benedict. Every time I look at it now, I think that's Benedict Cumberbatch's mum.
I know, it's bizarre what little nuggets you find in the world, isn't it?
Yeah, because I never knew that before, and I had no reason to sort of like think about it. I've forgotten what the actress is called, but it's just one of those lovely little things. So,
Yeah.
If any of you are watching, don't look it up, but then watch UFO and think which
funny.
one of these people from the 60s is his mum.
It's funny because when I've been doing these nights, before I go out, I sit and have my dinner, and I'll normally I'll just throw a DVD, well, we'll call them DVDs, but they're Blu-rays, but I'll stick a disc in and watch a bit of a film. And I was sitting there watching, because we don't talk about this sort of film, you don't talk about later on, but I was watching You Only Live Twice.
Yeah.
And there was the scenes there of the beginning where you've got the rocket going up into space, and then you have Straker from UFO saying these aliens, and I'm thinking, here's a UFO, and then you have got the other guy that plays Scott in Thunderbirds on the mic as well, and it was like this little Jerry Anderson popping around between the two of them talking.
Yeah, but from Inspector Clouseau, you've also got Kato in one of those scenes as well.
Yeah, because he was in the volcano in the control room.
He was the one who was on the mic.
Yeah, that's it. Because I actually did that tweet because I've been meaning now, because I haven't watched them for some, but I think I need to watch the Pink Panther movies.
Oh yeah, they're classic.
Because I haven't seen them in the donk, and I've got the box set on DVD of all the films, so I might actually have to stick them on.
That's one box set I actually want, because I love the. Is it the Pink Panther Strikes Again, where he goes into that hotel and says, "Do you have a room?" He says, "A what? A room? No." Oh, and then there's a bit of explanations. "Oh, you mean a room?" "Yes, that is what I said."
I think it's the second one where he's so comical in what he's doing, because he was going through a swinging round, the old flip round door.
Yeah,
and he dropped his briefcase, but his luggage bag was in there. He was outside, and obviously, when you go back in, he's behind that set of that three-way part of the glass on the turn, and he's trying to grab his luggage as he goes round. Yeah, and it's just so funny. It's such a.
And of course, the most funny bit, the whodunit of the fart in the elevator.
Oh yeah, was that Revenge? I think that might.
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was the last one he actually did, wasn't it?
Was that where he was dressed as like the Godfather in his big?
I think so. Yeah, something like that. I can't remember exactly how it's been 20 years since I watched these movies.
Oh god, it's a lot of stuff to go back and watch still, even though with all the stuff that comes out these days. Anyhow, so this week's movie I've been watching. Well, I actually watched it last week, but because I picked up the score today for it, I watched Dario Argento's Deep Red. So that's that movie I'll talk about, and obviously a little bit of talk on Picard, just a little bit of a quick.
But no spoilers.
Well, no. It's just a general chat. It's no.
Yeah. What we'll say is, if you want to listen to the specials that we're doing on that is completely spoilerific. So be warned, watch the episode first before you listen to it, because we do a deep dive into the whole show, all of the links, all of the lore, all of that sort of thing. That's what that show's about. So how long we'll keep that going for, I don't know, but it's been fun to do the first one, so we're just going to have another go on that.
So what's your week been like then compared to mine?
Well, I've had a lousy week, mate.
Yes, now you've got to tell me. I don't know if you're going to talk about it. But obviously, when you two chat, and I might say hi and blah blah blah, and I'm busy working. But you've been to the doctors, haven't you?
I have. Now, for 5 years, I've been getting testosterone injections.
Right.
Just because my body doesn't produce enough testosterone. And that helps me with, things like mood swings, stuff like that, And anyway, as you know, I've been through the mill last couple of years, lost my dad, had to look after my mum. My mum just died. Both my parents' deaths were quite horrific because they were very sudden, and I was very in the middle of it all and stuff like that. But I mean, like seeing them there, finding my mother dead, seeing my dad, them working on him and trying to get him to breathe again, stuff like, it was all really quite horrific. And anyway, that, put me on a bit of a downer, and I coped with some of that by eating. And self-inflicted, put on more than a couple of stone in terms of weight, which is weight I could not have done with putting on anyway. And anyway, because I get yearly tests because of my testosterone, the tests came back with a hit on my blood sugar, so I'm now pre-diabetic.
So what does that mean from being pre? Are you close to the mark then?
Well, not like worryingly close, I don't think, at the moment. Because the doctor phoned me up and said, I'm going to put you on this course that's going to teach you about your lifestyle and stuff like that. Basically, cut out all of the sugary rubbish and eat healthily, which I don't really need to go on a course like that. I just know that I've been eating rubbish for ages.
Did you know about your Coke addiction? Of the fizzy kind.
Do you know what? Funnily enough, because I drink Diet Coke, that is actually all right for diabetes, evidently.
Yeah, but it's just like...
But if I'd have drunk full-fat Coke, I'd have thinking of being dead now.
It's the thing, is it? Well, doctor, I've got a problem with Coke, I'm a bit addicted, and his face probably would have dropped, just saying that.
I do have to admit, the one thing that really does my head in is when you get all of these experts and says, oh, do you know what happens if you put 2 pence in, in Coke? And it's sort of like, yes, it dissolves because of the acid that is in there, because that fights in terms of the, whatever substances on the coin. Yeah, we know that, but your stomach's not made out of a 2p bloomin' coin.
No, you've got acid in your stomach anyway, so that's what breaks down what you eat anyway, so...
And in a matter of fact, if you ever watched Mythbusters, they actually busted this myth.
Yeah.
Because they saturated... a liver in Coke for months, and all it did was slightly tenderise the meat. So it's
well. I have cooked ham in Coke before. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. So to be honest, it really annoys me when people said that. But because I found out about this, my first reaction was, "Hope I can still drink Diet Coke." That was the first thing I looked up.
Yeah, but
but you can't eat sugared drinks. But because that's NutraSweet, evidently that's all right.
Yeah. Well, my eldest is diabetic, which he got from his mother's side.
Yeah.
So I've. Obviously, when I was married to her, and I've been through the rigmarole of looking after her when she had hypos, and I've seen it, done it regarding diabetes, and presiding, and it's a bit of a wake up call when they say that you need to sort your weight out and just start trying to look after yourself. It's not easy. I think everyone said dieting it's not diet, it's a lifestyle change. You got to break that down. And even my missus is having a minute about it, and I know. I said, yeah, I know.
Well, you'd lost a load of weight, didn't you?
Yeah, I lost over a stone, and I'll put it back on with probably a bit more as well. But life can be crap sometimes, and you turn to stuff that do you know what I mean? And it's
and that's what I've done. All of this, it's all self-inflicted. I'm not surprised,
but it's a wake-up call for you, isn't it?
It is. So basically, we've been to places like Holland and Barrett and all those sort of places that you go to find more healthy kind of alternative options about stuff. And I've got some tablets of vitamin tablets that are supposed to more control your sugar levels within your body. It doesn't say that it'll help, but it says it should help to control your sugar levels by it's sort of like, it's not a diet pill, but what it does is try and flatten you out a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So I'm hoping that they'll work. I'm going to try them for a month, see if it works. I'd been making changes anyway. Funnily enough, the last couple of weeks, I've been sort of like thinking, well, I'll start cutting down on a lot of the stuff that I'm having. I'm getting a bit more settled with life and the universe and everything, because to be honest, guys, this is like part of the reason why we had such a long break before Christmas, is just because of, what was going on with me. And anyway, to me, what it is now, it's a wake-up call. I'm pre-diabetic. They said, if I carry on the way I'm going, in 5 years, I'll be diabetic. But then they also said, we'll send you on this course and we'll monitor you and we'll do your blood again in a year. Now, if I was imminently, if you don't do something now, this ship's going to hit the iceberg, they would have been saying, we're going to monitor you, do your blood in 3 months or next month or whatever.
Yeah.
But they've said a year. So I'm not, to me, what this is like the asteroid is coming towards Earth and it's at its furthest reaches now. And if I deflect it by a degree now, then it'll miss Earth entirely. But if I wait until 5 years' time, I'm going to have to deflect it by 90 degrees. So I'm better off doing it now and doing a little bit to get myself back on track than leaving it. And that's all I'm doing. So, looking for alternatives to sweet stuff that I can have, like, sugar-free sweets and stuff like that rather than, plying my body with sugar. Evidently hummus is something that you can have.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So it's just about a few minor changes, but hopefully get myself back on track. But yeah, and also doing more exercise. A lot of it is about doing exercise. The problem at the moment is I've got tennis elbow in my arm and then I've pulled my hamstring in my leg.
Oh, right.
So doing exercise is a little bit problematic at the moment. Unless I suppose I could maybe go swimming, but I think that'd still hurt my tennis elbow. But my leg's starting to heal up and, so I've been doing a bit more walking, but my tennis elbow's been going on for months now. Really paid off with it. Because obviously part of the problem is I'm sorting out my other house and trying to get it ready, and having to lift stuff then aggravates the tennis elbow.
Yeah.
So it's like a self-reinforcing loop I'm in. But anyway, so that was my rubbish news this week, because my mother-in-law was ill as well, which also wasn't good. She was taken into hospital, but she ended up being all right. But that was a bit of a worry because she's well in her 80s now. My wife was a bit upset about that. So it's just been a bit of you get these points in your life where everything seems to end up being blooming drama, and I'm just sick of it. I just want to have a nice quiet life where I just plod along, do my work, come home, do this sort of stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Anyway, so this week, some other things. I got an RGB mouse mat.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great. It's absolutely fantastic because this is machine washable for a start off. It's got a map of the world on it, but it's a piece of electronics you can put in your washing machine. But basically, there's a little sort of like clip thing on one side of it that you just plug in your USB into, and that's it. And it's got different lighting modes, so you can have it fixed colours, or you can have it pulsating or flashing or whatever it is that you want to have it doing.
Cool.
So, yeah, it's really quite cool, actually. But obviously, being a PC gamer more than anything now, PC gamers we're all into RGB lighting. Yeah. So I thought, I'll have an RGB mouse mat. So I got one of those. And I renewed my PS Plus as well because that was up this month.
Yeah.
So I've got that for another year.
I'm not sure mine's is sometime in next year. But
they'll send you a message in every possible way that they can.
But we've got an interesting set on there this week that we will talk about later.
Yeah, very good, very good. Other than that, been doing a bit of Destiny, but not much other gaming for me. But I'll talk about that in a bit. And movie-wise and TV, got quite a bit to talk about. A few good shows and that in there as well. So. Unless you got any other questions, Steve,
no,
we'll move on.
Let's swing on and carry on.
All right. Okay, so in that case then, we'll go on to gaming this week. All right, so news this week then. We've got Marvel Avengers has been delayed by 4 months. Originally going to be out in May. Didn't you know that,
Can you throw her in the box?
Thank you for that. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll
Unplug
just stop her listening. I'll stop her listening. So,
Alexa, shut up.
I just love that. Oh, I didn't know that. That was great. So Marvel Avengers has been delayed by 4 months. It was originally going to be out on the 15th of May. It's now going to be out on the 4th of September. So yet another game that is getting the delayed treatment. Dishonored is also getting a tabletop RPG treatment later this year from the company of Modiphius Entertainment.
Okay.
And according to them, the core book features an in-depth look at the Dishonored world, its history, its people, plus a comprehensive storytelling guide. The latter includes rules for for players' various roles, which range from grim assassins and rugged criminals to intrepid explorers and stoic crown loyalists. Now, I've never really been into the Dishonored world.
Do you ever play a tabletop game at all? I think I'd love to play it more, but I don't think my family are really up for it, to be honest.
If I'm being honest, then no, I don't play tabletop at all. I used to when I was at school. So you are talking like 30 years ago.
I was a huge Talisman fan personally. That was my favourite.
I see. I was Dungeons and Dragons. I used to be in a Dungeons and Dragons club at school. We used to play it more or less every lunchtime. Used to really enjoy it. But since leaving school, I don't know anybody who's into that sort of stuff. Well, actually, tell a lie. I do know someone. His name is Paul. So, hello, Paul. And a couple of other people who I used to work with when I worked for the Independent Safeguarding Authority. So hi to you guys if you're listening. But to be honest, nowadays I don't play it at all. I would like to maybe get into it, but again, I think that is if you've not got the people near you to play it, you're pretty much not going to be able to do it. I know that you can do some tabletop games that are designed for one player or multiple players, but I can't be bothered to learn the rules either. That's the other thing.
I know. I mean, I did play a Star Trek one years ago.
That was the one where, if you rolled a dice, you then picked a direction that your ship went to.
Because they were they were hexagonal sort of dice.
Yeah, and you could, you and the enemy had different paths, and if you got it right, you could shoot.
There's a couple out at the minute. I'd love to go. There's a Jaws one at the moment that's out, tabletop game.
Yeah,
which I'd like to. I just want to get it just for your head. I'm not owning it really, but I'd like to see what that's about.
Yeah, I mean, on the Midlife Gamer, Darren on there, he's always talking about.
Oh God, yeah,
desktop
always
games.
is, yeah. And it's funny because obviously Mondo, where I get some of my vinyl, they make tabletop games, and they made a Thing one for the movie.
Okay, yeah.
And I think they were trying. I don't know if it's ever been released yet, but they've been trying to sort one out based on Jurassic Park. So yeah, there's all sorts. So even though we think of tabletop being Dungeons and Dragons,
yeah,
and then you got Ticket to Ride, haven't you, and all sorts, but yeah, board games still kick in. I think we normally just play Monopoly, but there you go. That's just a family thing to do.
Yeah, to be honest, we don't play much board games at all. It's more things like Jenga and stuff like that,
Okay. Anyway, shall I do releases?
Yeah, go on then.
Okay, so the four, they're all on the 4th of the 2nd. So we've got Zombie Army 4 Dead War, PS4, Xbox One, PC from Rebellion. We have Life is Strange 2, the Collector's Edition on PC, PS4, Xbox One for Square Enix. Monster Jam Steel Titans Retail Edition on the Switch from THQ Nordic. Monster Energy Supercross 3 on every platform available. That's from Milestone. And
even Stadia.
Yeah, I know.
There's a game getting released on Stadia. Way!
God knows. And the last one we got is Dark Crystal Age of Renaissance Tactics. PC, PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch.
Cool.
Is that Dark Crystal from the movie?
Yes, it is. It is. Well, and the TV series as well.
There has been one,
it relates to that. Yeah, so that's linking into all of those as well.
Yeah.
So, subscription games then. On a Games for Gold, we've got TT Isle of Man, The Call of Cthulhu, Fable Heroes, and Star Wars Battlefront this month. PlayStation Plus, we've got the BioShock Collection of Sims and Firewall 0 Hour, which is a PS VR game.
Probably have to just download it for sheer hell of it for now. I haven't got mine set up.
Yeah. Well, add it in anyway,
Yeah,
at least.
absolutely.
Twitch from the 3rd of February, we've got American Fugitive, Desert Child, Narcos, Rise of the Cartel, Steriden, and White Knight. And then on the Epic Games Store, currently free is Farming Simulator 2019, followed by... I can't read that, it's far too small.
You put it in there.
Carasone, and then Ticket to Ride, actually, is after that. So 6th of Feb to the 13th, and ticket for both of those. So that's Carasone and Ticket
Which are
to
both
Ride.
tabletop games.
Yes.
Funnily enough.
Yeah.
It was,
Funnily enough. You'd have think that would have been a perfect segue there,
wouldn't it?
you?
Yeah. Now, there's something else you haven't mentioned there, which I want to talk about, because I can't seem to get it to work, and it keeps saying America only, is that some old exotics and bits and bobs from Destiny 2 are coming via Twitch Prime.
Yep, and I've got them.
Now, you'd have to tell me how you did it, because when I went on there, it said America only. I'm thinking, get lost. What are you about America only? So,
No.
how did you do it?
Well, I was signed in on the page.
Which one?
On the Twitch rewards.
Yeah. Which is what, via Amazon?
Well, no, I just use a normal... No, I go on to... Well, from Twitch, I go onto the Twitch rewards page from the notifications, and then I just clicked on Destiny 2, and then clicked on claim. It said, choose which character. So I chose my Xbox One because that's the one I'm sharing across all of them. And then signed in, authorised it, and that was it.
Right, so was that via Amazon or via just Twitch Amazon?
By Twitch. I always go through Twitch because Twitch is one of those websites that I have automatically loading when I open up a browser. So I just clicked on that, clicked on the notification and went to the page that way.
I'm just going to try and do while we're chatting, I'm going to try and do it on the app, if it will allow me. But carry on. I'll do that as we're doing, as we're carrying on there. I'll try and log in.
Okay. Well, I'll talk about I've got two games, so I'll talk about my other one.
Yes, then
the one that you haven't played.
Yes.
And then we'll go on to Destiny after that. So, the one I want to talk about this time is 1111 Memories Retold. Mm-hmm. So this is a game that's available on the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows. And basically what it is a narrative adventure video game set during World War One. So it was released on the 9th of November 2018, 2 days before the centennial of the armistice. And what I've got to say is this is a game I think that you've got to play to experience, because the game has a really beautiful art style which is deliberately designed to make everything look like it's an oil canvas. So it does look really very good. The game follows two characters on opposing sides of the war, a Canadian called Harry and a German who's called Kurt. And neither is at war when the story starts, because it starts in November 1916. And their stories basically unfold month by month, and eventually they become entwined in the story. The game takes on various locations, including Vimy and Pasha Daily, I think it is. And it's a very gentle sort of story narrative with some puzzle solving, things like that in there. But it's a really interesting premise for the game. It's very enjoyable, and completing it comes in at about 6 hours.
It's not too bad then.
No, it's a very nice, gentle sort of game. If you're into the achievement sort of thing, there's some ones that you will probably have to dip back into certain scenes to redo because there's collectibles, and some of them are linked to taking photographs. So rather than you collecting an icon, an icon or an object or whatever, you have to take a photograph, and there's only a certain position you can stand and a certain time that you can take that photograph, which is very clever, way of doing it as well. Sort of like turns it on its head a little bit. So, well worth it. It's been on Game Pass previously, but it is one of those ones that keeps coming up as quite cheap now as well. So well worth a look, especially if, you've been to see 1917 and you've enjoyed that, then this gives a bit more of that sort of narrative about the war, but from different perspectives.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. So my second game is obviously Destiny 2. So I've been concentrating on getting things finalised in this season. Although there are another 35 days as of right now, or 34 days left. I finished the Crucible bout with the Komodo 4FR. Thank God for that.
Was that a grind, that one? Because I'm halfway through it at the moment, I think.
Oh God, yeah, that was. And the main problem is that you had to get, was it 100 or so kills with a linear fusion rifle. So the main problem with that is a linear fusion rifle takes about anywhere from half a second to a couple of seconds to fire. So you've kind of like got to preempt where the person's going to be.
You sort of got to have that trigger started a bit if you're not trying to just then charge it, because by then you could be shot and dead anyway in seconds, couldn't you? Yeah,
exactly. And plus the fact it uses special ammo, so that means that when you die, you get 2 shots. So when I first started playing this, I was maybe getting 1 or 2 kills on a linear fusion rifle a game. By the time I finished, I was actually getting probably about, 8 or 9.
Oh, right.
I got quite proficient with it. But what I would do, because I was just literally going for the achievement, is I would get my kills and then kill myself or get killed just to keep, to get a refresh on the ammo.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, because, I know that's not really team playing, but I wanted to get rid of this blooming achievement, triumph.
Yeah.
To get this weapon. And then that meant I had 1 weapon left on this season's stuff to get, which was for the emblem that links to Gambit.
Oh, okay.
And I had to play what felt like millions of flipping games of Gambit to get this done.
Actually, it doesn't bother me. Actually, I like Gambit, so actually, to be honest, if we forget the latest season at the minute, which I'm getting bored of, from the point of what you do with it, I've got no interest in it.
I think the part of the reason why you're getting bored with it, Steve, is because you've had the Bastion
ripped from my shoulder.
Yeah, I think that's.
Well, it's funny because obviously now, since the update came, obviously you can't go back into the corridors of time now, of course.
No.
And I'd already had the exotic orb in my hands, which I had to take to St. 14 on the tower. And then we had that long up. It's ironically, we had the update, and then we had another update because all the people's glimmer had got screwed up and stuff. So there was like a day where Destiny was down for that day. But I was obviously being nice, it didn't bother me. So when I logged on, did the update on both consoles, I still haven't got that. I still haven't got that quest anymore. It's nowhere to be seen.
So you've not got the Bastion.
No. So
well, I mean that's the way the seasons are going now.
So the quest that Saint 14 would have given you from when you gave him the orb, that step's disappeared and it's still not there.
So that means no matter what that you do, you will not be able to get the what is it, badge? Is it a badge or?
Oh yeah, there's a few badges I actually haven't got anyway. But yeah, that I couldn't even go for the badge, because that.
Yeah, sorry, no, I'm not the badge. I was thinking, what's the one that you get for triumphs?
What you got is you got the cards, haven't you? There, which.
Yeah, but you get that shield thing, don't you, at the bottom of the screen? What's that called? Because you've got one for Gambit, haven't you?
Yes. Oh, are you on about the... do you know, I can't think what they're called. The titles you're on about.
Yeah.
Because that's the only title. That's my only title I've got as a Dredger.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get the one for this season.
Well, actually, you should go for the Dredger one, because if you played enough Gambit, you probably could be close to getting that one.
I've still got loads on there.
Oh, really?
Still got absolutely, yeah, really.
Well, the only thing
really
you need to get exotic-wise for that would be the Malfeasance hand cannon. Have you got that yet?
Yeah, yes, I have.
And then there's one difficult triumph in the badge to get. But
yeah, is that the 40 kills without dying in one life?
No, it's not that one, actually.
Because I think I've added several new swear words to the English dictionary the other day, because I got to 39 kills and I got an invader and he shot me in the back of the head. I was so annoyed. I was really annoyed. I got 81 kills in that game, but I was really, really annoyed because most of them were all on one life.
Yeah. No, but there was one of the triumphs you need to get is where you've got to help someone pick up some who when you give them to them, well, they got to pick up some drops to do with taking the orbs into the cylinder in the middle of the main part of the game. But I can't remember what they're trying. But it was really difficult, and I happened to just do it by pure chance. You had to get 2 or 3 of them, and I already had 2. But I thought, oh god, this is ridiculous. But I just carried on playing, and it just came out of the blue. I just, without even thinking about it, But no, the Bastion had wound me up a little bit because they haven't fixed it.
No,
and they can't. I don't know why they can't see in the database of how your character's progressed to get that orb, so they can just pop and give you, or you could go to Saint 14 to go to unused quests and see it in there and pick it up and carry on with it. But you don't have any unused quests. But ironically, something I did do out of curiosity, I had a quest to sort of replay the Forsaken content for a second time. Yeah. So and therefore, when you play it on the second run around, it's 750. You've got to be 750 to do it. So I played that. I completed the story. I got given the Cade's exotic quest again, which I just deleted because I've already done it anyway. But I thought maybe that might have kicked it in, because obviously the quest that you have to do, what you get from Saint 14, starts with the spider, with a lot of stuff you got to do for him. So I thought maybe that's why I just played it all afternoon, redoing the Forsaken content, believe it or not. But it didn't. It's just not dropped, and it still hasn't. I've even mentioned it on Twitter, but it's like falling on deaf ears a little bit. So my other, it's not a beef in this at the moment. It's just how they're playing the game. I'm having a bit of a letdown with the season content and how they progress with it, because you get each time you reset your power. Yeah. And so whatever you've done over power with the artifact, say you're plus 12 power, that would go minus back to whatever you would be. Mm-hmm. And I'm feeling that that's a grind for nothing at the end of the day, because what's the point in doing it? All right, you might want to go up to 100 to get the bits and bobs in the season, but really, what's the point? Because you're going to be reset back to whatever it will be, 962 or 960, depending on how you played the game or whatever. If you've got run through and picked up any extra bits and bobs, like you deleting one, for example. But I feel it's a bit of a letdown on that point of view, and that mechanic is sort of wearing thin on me at the moment.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I just think, what's the point?
I do, but the problem is that your light level could then go up massively, or everybody's light level go up massively if they didn't do that reset at the end of the season. So, that
I don't know. I mean, why not let it just keep going up? Because that's what it's all about at the end of the day. When you're grinding, you're earning to do that. I mean, all right, why didn't you just give it a cap like they used to?
Yeah, but then again...
And that cap could be it could be another 20.
But I think that the idea behind it is that you do this grind because they hold back certain events until the very end of the season, so that you have done that grind past 100, so that you're better equipped to go against those higher level bosses and, achieve, the triumphs that you need to do to be able to unlock the shield things, which I still can't remember what they're called at the moment. Yeah, it's not only titles, you get the shield as well that goes with it. The title goes with the shield.
Okay.
It's doing my head in because I can't remember what they're called, but because I've never got one. But anyway, there's 28 triumphs that you have to complete. One of which is to do the badge. Badges relate to collecting all of the items for that season. Now I've done the badge, so that's my second badge that I've got now.
Yeah, so I haven't picked up. There's like 3 different weapons you can pick up. Yeah, and I'm halfway through them all. There's one that's a hand cannon in I think it was in Gambit, for example. There might have been a submachine gun of some kind or something like that, or so on and so forth. But that's fine. They're always there, even when you don't finish them. To carry on, but it's just the idea of that grind to nowhere. I feel like that song. Do you know what I mean? It's like a road to nowhere. It's just, you're not going anywhere.
I do know what you mean, but I'm not. I wouldn't say I necessarily completely agree with you because of. I think that the way that they've tried to make the mechanic work now, for me, it's. I don't have an issue.
I mean, you
with
played
it
a bit more because you're up a bit longer than me during the nights anyway. You've been playing it a bit more than me, to be honest. That's fine. That's no problem. I mean,
it's a triumph seal. That's what it is.
So I'm only ranked 73 at the minute. I mean, I'll get that down to 100.
Yeah. Well, you've got 4 weeks, so you easily.
You could just play, and.
I mean, by the I don't know how much you've actually been playing, but. It doesn't take long. I could go up, a couple of levels in a night quite easily. Yeah, just by making sure I'm picking up the bounties and doing all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've done all the bounties for the whole tower. I can't do any more, as in, I think I've got.
Yeah, but when you go to the planets, do you do those?
Yeah, the only one I haven't done at the minute is the one which involves the latest season at the minute. So I'm just sort of a bit dumb on that at the minute. I just can't be asked.
Well, I mean, I think you're suffering from what I was suffering from before with Destiny, because I got to be like that. I thought, I can't be bothered. It's just taking me away from too much other stuff. I'm not interested now. I don't feel like that at the moment with Destiny. Not saying I won't feel like it again, because I am sure I will feel this way again.
I mean, what I went back and did actually was because I don't use hand cannons or sidearms as much as other weapons.
No, I don't either.
So I thought I've got some of those cards you have there which you've got on the bottom right hand corner of your screen, and I don't have many of them done. There's like one or two, there's like one item required. Do you know what I mean? And I went back and looked at one, and what it was is I needed 2 bits of armour that I could actually buy from the vendor. So I did, But what I'm doing is, what I did do, I've been playing Black Armory.
I've been doing that as well.
So I picked up, because there's only one weapon I haven't got, which is the sidearm. So I did that over the last couple of days, and actually, where before I didn't need to go for the main. I'm going to call him an alien now, but the main character you have to kill to open the chest.
Yeah,
I had to do that with this sidearm, but it's all right, it's fine. Then I had to do that, and then I had to do something else to do that, and blah blah blah. So I picked up one, and also I got a Masterworks weapon of it as well, so which was pretty cool. And it's not a bad weapon. I did give it a go in PvP. And I was quite chuffed with it, to be honest. But I've got all of those done now.
Yeah, I mean, Masterworks is something that I never got, and I completely get it now. And all of my equipment now is Masterworks.
Yeah.
All of my core stuff. So, as you know, my main gun is the Risk Runner, and I'm still running the Risk Runner. I know that it's not the best.
I tried it the
circumstance.
other day. Funnily enough, I thought I'll get it up to 960 or whatever and give it a whirl. And I had it go in Crucible, but I wasn't having much luck with it, to be honest.
I don't play it in Crucible. Do you know what gun I mostly play in Crucible? The Mida Multi-Tool.
No, you see, it's different for me because I'm just having a look on the app now. The one I use is the Outlast, which is a pulse rifle.
Right. I never had much success with pulse rifles.
But this one, right, I've got has I've masterworked anyway. But what it's got, because of the way it works out, I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items attached to it.
Right.
So obviously you've got the Crucible tracker. I've got snapshot sight, drop mag, this polarizing rifle, and the rapid fire frame. But I've got full auto trigger system on it, and I just hold the trigger down, and it just deals damage like you wouldn't believe. It really works well. So I've been using that, and also at the moment because the Breakneck's had a bit of a buff, so I've got that at 963 at the minute. So those are the two. There's a load of other weapons to play with, but I just haven't mucked around with them too much.
Yeah, I mean, the Bastion. To be honest, that was, to me, I'm never going to play that again.
No, but it's a collection. This is a collection game now, isn't it?
Yeah, got to catch them all.
And hence I was talking, when we were talking the other day, I was, I need to go, there's a couple of weapons I really want to go for. And I think you might be a little bit behind on one of them or not. But yes, there was an exotic sniper rifle, which we were talking to Mark about. Yeah,
I want to get that one as well, because we've all got to do that.
And also the other one where I'm at the last part where you've got a 20-minute time frame to go through a strike.
Yeah, I think I've got that somewhere, but I haven't done that one yet.
You haven't got that far yet, to the last bit?
No, I haven't.
That's the Outbreak Perfected, which is a wicked weapon. That's really one I want.
Oh, have I got that? I can't remember if I've got that one or not. In terms of the main one I want to get, though, is Thorn, because that used to always be my favourite one.
I've got the Thorn, it's a bitch to do.
I know you have. We tried it that one night, and we could not get past that last bit of the strike. But hopefully, now, with a bit extra better weapons and stuff like that, we might be able to. So when Mark, because he's been having terrible problems with his broadband, when he gets that sorted out, hopefully we'll be able to finish that off. But I'm desperate to complete that strike. Really desperate. I want that weapon. Because I want to go into Crucible with that again. I used to enjoy with it. Nah.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's just a few bits and pieces, because I really am. I think it's being stale when you're using the 3 same weapons all the time. And when you're in the Crucible, I mean, I've been holding my own sometimes, but then sometimes they've been using other weapons you don't think of using.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I think it is, what makes it stale for me, and I've been feeling this a little bit the last few days, is I got to a point where I had pages and pages of quests that I'd picked up and had never completed.
Well, you've seen my pages, haven't you? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, now I've got down to 3 pages. I think I had about 5. Yeah. I've got down to 3 pages, and bearing in mind that we've been picking up stuff on the go as well, so I've probably completed about 4 pages of these, weapon quests over the last couple of months. With the amount of them that over the last 2 seasons you've been gaining and, finishing. It's been going up and down, up and down. I mean, 3 of the quests that are on my list now are all to do with the same mission anyway. But those disc icons are ones where we've got to do that in the Shattered Throne.
Yeah, we that's for the wish ender, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So that takes up 3 of the quest slots. Yeah, and I'm trying to empty them all. So I managed to get the Truth done, for example. So I've got the Truth rocket launch, all of those ones. But the problem that I've got now is I've got myself to a point where I'm a little bit stuck, because I've either got to go into the raid, and I don't have a raid team, or I need a fire team to be able to progress the rest of the stuff. And that's the problem that I'm in now, is I've done what I can do myself. I now need a team to be able to do it.
Well, that's where the couple of bits and pieces I was all talking about, and although I don't even know where I am with the truth, I don't know actually what one that is now. To be honest,
I thought you had the truth.
No, I don't. So I
Do you not?
So I don't know what is it. The truth.
If you've not got the truth rocket launcher, that one, I thought that I was stuck on the last stage of that, and it said you had to go and do the strike. I thought, let's go and try and do the strike solo. It match made me automatically. And that's been the thing about all of the ones in this season, why I've been able to complete and get all of the weapons in this season, because where it has required you to go through a strike, it does matchmaking for you.
You'd have to look at you'd have to look at my page of that I've put on that our little Facebook and see what one it is, because I don't even know which one it's for.
Right.
You'd have to just have a browse at my pictures to see all of my 3 pages of unfinished quests.
We'll have to do a comparison of the ones that we've got.
Yeah.
But what I did want to mention was about the upcoming event that is evidently going to be happening from either this week or next week until the end of the season. And that is, obviously, if you've been playing Destiny, you know that you have had to unlock all of these obelisks on, is it Nessus, Mars, Earth, and where's the other one? Is it Io?
Could possibly be. I'm not trying to think. To me,
Io, I think it is Io, but maybe I can't remember. But anyway, and then there is, what happens is an obelisk central point is in the tower as soon as you first come into the main entrance of the tower. So what's happening next is there's going to be a public event, and you get this fracture line, whatever it is, stuff that you earn. And you've had to do specific missions as it's been going along. And you've been required to sort of, to maximise your ability on them, get your levels up on all of your obelisks up to level 11. Now, all of mine are level 11, but you can go beyond that.
Yeah, I haven't. And I think the last 2 I opened after having that little glitch, again, we've been unlucky at a minute. I think I'm only level 4 or 5 on both of them.
Right. You've really got to get those sorted as quickly as you can, because what's going to happen now is, or for when this event starts, is evidently we're going to be given passively fracture line essence, or whatever it is it's called, and we're going to be given that at the beginning of every week, and that's going to be relating to what obelisk power your obelisks are at. So when you look at the main one, in the top right-hand corner, it says what your current level is. Now, I've been upgrading my obelisks to beyond level 11.
Right.
And if you do it beyond level 11, you won't get 5,000. You'll get a corresponding amount based on what your level is. So when you get the 5,000, when this event starts off, in the first week, don't stick it all into the obelisk to the community event. Because of the way that it'll work out, it will actually get you more of this free stuff if you plough it into your existing obelisks and maximise their level over the first week. So if you get to
level 11, that's enough, is it?
No, get it up to level 20 or beyond if you can.
Yeah, okay, right. Yeah.
So when you get the fracture line, then stick it all on for the first week, stick it all on your obelisks and get them up as high as they'll go. That will then take your level of your tower obelisk to its maximum level. What you've then got to do the next week is you will get more than 5,000. You will get a corresponding amount. I think it's for every level that you go up, you get 100 more.
Right.
Or something like that. So it costs you 200 to upgrade. So if you do it on the first week, then for the next 3 weeks, you will get 100 more for each one of the levels that you upgrade.
I'll have to have a look later when we come off this.
Yeah, I'll send you a video that shows you all about this anyway. But basically, that's the optimum way to do it. But in the meantime, if you've got any of that stuff, get it stuck on all of your obelisks, And the other thing as well is every time that you submit or you level up your obelisks, not obelisks. Every time you upgrade the community event and you add your fracture line to this, what will happen is if you've got any of the weapon bounties, it will complete them by 25% for every 200 or 100 that you put in. So you're going to be given, as long as you're maximum level 11 on all of the 4 ones, 5,000 fracture line for the first week. Yeah. If you invest that, the next week you'll get 7,500 or something like that back, and then you'll get a lot more back each week after that. Then, and what you want to do is pick up all the bounties that you can for the weapons, invest. That will then level up the weapons, and then it gives you more chance of getting a god roll on those special weapons that are only going to be available in this season. So if you don't like the roll, you can burn it and you'll get resources for it, or else you can keep it because you've got a really good roll on it. Maybe you've got a pulse rifle with, auto fire and I don't know what else that, might appeal to you. In there, and that's the way evidently it's going to be best to level it up. What I'll do is I'll put a video. It's Cactus HD who's done the video, explains it in much better detail than I'm doing. I'm trying to remember what he said, but it'll explain how it'll work and what you need to do to prepare. So that's what I'm doing. And what happens in this community event is when we've as a community invested, I think it's something like, 700 million or something fracture line. And then I think it goes up by about 58% each time. It gives back community rewards as well. So emblems and various different other things. So in order to get that, you're going to have to invest some of this. But if you want to maximize it, you need to make sure that all of those obelisks are updated as high as they can now, level 11 or beyond. And then first week, invest all of it. And then after that, put it all into the community event. Plus, you'll be able to still earn it during the rest of the thing as well. So that's evidently how it's going to operate. So I'm going to try that.
Sounds a mouthful, but I'll have to look into it.
It does. I think it's probably be a lot more simple once you actually start doing it. But basically, invest in your obelisks first week, and then after that, stick everything into the community obelisk.
Okay.
That's it in a short. So anyway, I've got 3 triumphs left, and then if I get those, one of which I'm not sure I will do because it requires a full set of 6 fire team, but if I do get those, then that means I will have got the seal for this season.
Right.
Which will be a little crazy.
Yeah, I probably won't be able to get that anyway now, so that's through the window, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the way because of the way these things go now. So, have you got anything else to add to gaming?
We can move on.
All right. In that case, then, let's move on to movies, TV and streaming. All right, so movies, TV and streaming. I've got no news. Have you got any, Steve?
Not that I can think of. I say I've been a bit of a hermit in the dark, so I haven't heard much what's going on.
Yeah, I must admit I haven't heard much either. So we'll skip the news for this week. But in terms of cinema releases, on the 2nd of February, we've got One Piece Stampede. Then on the 7th, we've got Parasite, Dolittle, Birds of Prey, The Immaculate Emancipation of Harley Quinn, Underwater, Daniel Isn't Real, Plus One, and Mr. Jones.
Not Mrs. Jones.
No, she's been gone too long. But Birds of Prey, I am looking forward to seeing that. I'm seeing that week after next, so I'll let people know what that's
Parasite,
like.
I'd really like to see. Also, Daniel Isn't Real. And also Underwater, which is a bit of I think it's a sci-fi horror flick, if I remember rightly.
A bit like The Abyss.
Possibly. I did see a trailer at some point. Doolittle, I'm not even going to go there with that. That's going to be utter rubbish.
I've heard it's terrible.
Why is someone with that calibre doing that?
Yeah. Well, it's gonna. Let's face it, it's going to do little in the charts, isn't it?
Moving on. Right.
And do you know what? That joke is better than the movie, probably.
Is. So, Blu-ray DVD releases. So, a couple highlighted here. We got Dracula 2020 Series 1, Dwayne Johnson's 3-movie box set collection with Skyscraper, Central Intelligence, Pain and Gain, and we got the Breakfast Club Blu-ray Steelbook 35th anniversary. Also, ones that stand out for me in there are, let's have a look through. We've got, where did I see it earlier on?
Brain Damage?
Yeah, exactly. I do own that. I have actually got Brain Damage. No, not.
No, there's a statement,
Can
isn't
I
it?
just swing around? Yeah, I have. It's like I can see it in my Arrow collection.
Yeah.
So Brain Damage, and also, what else have we got there?
Evil Ed?
Possibly. I heard some stuff about that. But yeah, there's a couple there that's worth a look at. Yeah, like your Arrow. And also, Daniel Isn't Real, I think, coming to Blu-ray at the same time. I got a funny feeling it's been a cinema release. But anyway, charts.
Yeah, so charts. This week we have at number 5, Jumanji, The Next Level. At number 4, we have Little Women. At number 3, The Personal History of David Copperfield. At number 2, Bad Boys for Life. And at number 1, there, 3 weeks on release, is 1917.
And the correct Blu-ray DVD chart for this week is Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2 is from upper 8 to 5. We have the new one called Bates. Then we have Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Rambo Last Blood, and It Chapter 2.
Okay. So, Steve, do you want to tell us what you've been watching?
Bit of Star Trek, which we're not going to talk about.
Well, we can talk about a bit of it, but obviously not give spoilers.
No, I very much enjoyed it. It seemed to go too quick, as I did say to you earlier. That it's like it. I was expecting when we got to the end of the episode, I thought that wasn't the end. I thought, sure, we got another 10 minutes or so.
I thought we were only halfway through the episode when it finished. I was enjoying it so much. I'll tell you what, I had an absolute nightmare.
Oh, yeah, because I remember seeing this when I was up on the ladder. My phone was vibrating, and there's you going, the internet's dropped, I can't watch Picard.
I know, and I bet you were laughing your socks off. I thought,
well, if you like me, mate, I'm up a ladder fixing a camera while you're there worrying about the internet.
Yeah, I mean, it literally, it was just going into the credits, and the internet went completely off. And it was off for about 20 minutes. And I rebooted my router about 5 times during that, was on the phone looking at seeing what the service was like for my internet service provider, see if there was any downage. There was no reported downage. I was absolutely livid. And then it just came on, so I thought, right, okay, I'm going to put it back on then. But, yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, but I'd say, with how the story's progressing, I thought that was very clever. And I thought this week we were going to meet Riker and Troy, but obviously not this week. That's probably going to be later on.
They are really lagging that bit out.
Well, that's going to be a cameo. That's all that is going to be.
Yeah.
Because there was something he said in there about, if you want to get a crew together, why didn't you go for so-and-so? And you're thinking, yeah, okay. Good.
I think that he'll end up going to Riker to get a ship.
Maybe, yeah.
I think that's what that's going to be about.
But we could touch briefly on the F-bomb.
Yes, because this is the most profanity-laden version of Star Trek going.
Whoever sees a Romulan say the F-word, eh? Come on.
Well, not only that, but a Starfleet Admiral as well.
We're all adults here, and we see a lot of profanity in a lot of movies we watch anyway. But with that series and its predecessors, it's something that I don't feel can be really too necessary. I mean, another one comes to mind we were talking about earlier was when the separation of the saucer section in which one was it when they did the saucer separation and crashed into Earth? That was Generations, wasn't it?
Generations.
And Data's going, oh, shit, like that. But it did. You don't actually hear him. It just started to say it. So.
Oh, as to put it in a good place where shirt balls.
So that was a bit of a comical moment more than anything. Where what we had here, we've had a couple of just blurted out. I think, oh God.
Well, the only other times that there has been swearing was when David Marcus was killed by the Klingons on The Search for Spock, and on Relics, where Scotty said, "No A, B, C, or bloody D." And that was the only time.
Let's face it, it was.
Because there was a young lady from Venus who had a body shaped like a Picard to engineering. That one. And then the only other one was Tilly, who also dropped the F-bomb on Discovery in season 2.
So they are few and far between, but I don't know why it felt like a shock. I mean, I've seen enough. You watch an Eddie Murphy movie back in the 80s and you get more than your fair share there, didn't you? But
well, to be quite honest, you got more swearing in one sentence with an Eddie Murphy movie than you got in the entire Star Trek of every film and TV series added together, the whole lot.
Yeah, so there's lots of ways if you tune into you guys and you'll hear all about that. But we'll see how that pans out.
I have a theory about this, and we were talking about this again before we started to record. And I think what they've done is they've looked at what's happened with Star Wars. Star Wars have always kept Star Wars to the same sort of level. And I think what they've done is they've looked and I think that they've said, this has backfired on Disney because the real fans are not the new people. The real fans are now the dads and the mums in there. They're not not the kids as much. And I think what they've tried to do with Picard is take the next generation and what they perceive is their sort of youngest audience from then, and then added 30 years on and tried to take the show with them. Do you know what I mean? So the approach is more adult because this is a lot more gritty than the next generation. Let's face it, the next generation was sort of like a bit like candy floss that occasionally got a fly in it. This is, grittier than the next generation and Deep Space Nine or any other sort of Star Trek
I can mention
of that era.
Right. You just reminded me, but carry on.
Yeah. So that's what I think that they've done. But I think that what they haven't appreciated is that Star Trek has a different ethos to Star Wars. And Star Trek is a universe where people are a bit more developed. They worry about words and what people are called or whatever, and it's all about that, about, the political correctness, for want of a better term, because it's not political correctness gone stupid as it has nowadays. It's political correctness as in just decency. Do you know what I mean? So that, in my opinion, and I think that's what they've done. So sorry, what was the bit that you said?
No, sorry, no, carry on with this. I'll mention it in a minute. But
no, that was it. That was me finished in terms of my view about what they've tried to do and what they should have actually have done, which is just to have made it more gritty, but there was no need for the swearing. I'm not opposed to swearing. I mean, if you knew me in real life, I'd swear every other word sometimes, but, in terms of on a show like Star Trek, it's not that universe, but maybe that's part of what they're also saying. It's not that universe anymore.
So, something else Star Trek related I've been watching this week, which I've not finished, it's a documentary. And it's called What We Left Behind. And it's looking back at Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Now, this came out in the cinema last year in the States. And there was a few little showings of it here, there and everywhere. But we never had the chance to really get to watch it here. And
I thought it was on Netflix, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, it is if you pay for it, like what I did. You
pay for it on Netflix?
Not Netflix, sorry. No, it's not. It's on some Prime, Amazon.
I'm sure this has been on Netflix.
No, it's not.
A little while ago.
Positive.
Because it's got Avery Brooks in it, and he is weird.
No, it's not. It's not been on anywhere. I'm sure it because I've been waiting for this to raise its ugly head for God knows how long.
I've saw this ages ago.
But it came out last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's available to buy on Amazon Prime. So for $7.99. So I've got a few bits and pieces which I bought on there for podcasting related stuff in the past and research and whatever. But yeah, it's really good to watch. I'm only a slither of the way through it. It's great to listen to their thoughts because their thoughts are quite not damning in a way because the show got a bit of a rough ride.
And I think there was no need for that because it was a good show.
Because it was stuck in one place, wasn't it? That's how it had its problem.
But it wasn't, though. That's the thing. You could say that Star Trek generally is like that because it's stuck on the Enterprise or stuck on Voyager.
Because it was stuck in one place and it was like a soap drama on a space station. That's what it felt like. Yeah. And there was letters from a lot of people, and I actually read some out in the beginning of the episode, beginning of this documentary. They're reading to you some of the people's thoughts on it, and different actors from the show were doing it. And it's a joy to watch, really is. And for those that want to track it down, it is on Amazon Prime if you want to. Now, you can either rent it if you want or buy it, but I just thought I'd pick it up and put it in my digital box. I don't buy too many purchases on digital these days.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, the last thing I went to watch this week was another Dario Argento movie called Deep Red. And in Italian, this is called Profondo Rosso, which is what it's probably more known for in Italy. And a lot of people say this is probably the ultimate giallo movie compared to Suspiria maybe or some other ones that they've done. But it is a great film. And as much as I don't want to pick the bones of this too much, because if anyone does want to watch it, I don't want to give it away. But I thought I'd explain what giallo is, because I've mentioned that I'm probably thinking that people are, what am I talking about? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So what this goes back to, giallo is the Italian for yellow. And some time ago, you used to have these sort of murder mystery fiction novels, these sort of throwaway paperbacks.
Yeah.
And they were with yellow covers, and they were cheap and easy to read, and you see them lying on trains best supposed to them. But this is really post-fascist Italy. This is going back a fair bit. Mm-hmm. So this is where that word comes from. And with the movies that were made in the late 70s, early 70s onwards, maybe telling 1960, maybe, but definitely 70s onwards. These are how they proceed in the type of movie you would get. For example, in this film, you would have a character that is doing the hatching with the chopping knife, and all you would see is like the black gloves. You might see a hat. You would never see the face of the person, the person doing the dirty deed in the film. Mm-hmm. And they're just great. I really enjoyed these, and I don't know I can't remember what even got me into watching these at the end, but I think it's because I was a big Suspiria fan anyway, and I picked up a lot more of these movies, and it's all from Arrow, of course, because they've got a huge collection there. Which what they do is they re-release these with a new scan, and in this case we had a 1080p with off a 4K scan. It was the director's cut. So what happened is because this is an Italian movie. And obviously, what they do is they do it for British purposes, for American. So you'll have like subtitles, or they'll dub it into English. But there's certain scenes that were never put back in that they've thrown in as well. But what happens is you get them in Italian with subtitles because they were never dubbed into English.
Okay.
But really good. Basically, what this one is, it's one night a musician, Marcus Daly, is looking up the street below and witnesses a brutal axe murder of a woman in her apartment. And she's a psychic. He goes racing to the scene and just manages to miss her perpetrator, or does he? As he takes the role of an amateur sleuth, Marcus finds himself ensured in the bizarre web of murder and mystery where nothing seems to be what it seems. So that's basically how the plot goes. And the direction that this is shot, camera ways and everything else, it's typical Argento. There's lots of blood. Blood in these films are all very much fake blood. They don't look like they do today, but that doesn't take anything away from what the film is at all. And the score in this case again is Goblin, who have done numerous of his movies, including Suspiria, Phenomenon, and Tenebrae, which is one of my favourites. And actually did score Giorgio Romeo's Dawn of the Dead, which I've got a copy of that as well, or two actually. And I was watching a bit of a documentary while just writing this piece, and apparently the lead to Goblin, Claudio Simonetti, was saying that John Carpenter had a word with him and said he was inspired with the theme from Deep Red to put his theme for Halloween together, which I didn't know that.
That's interesting.
But the music is really good. It's very 70s rock.
Okay.
They're an Italian band, and I've got probably about 4 or 5 of their albums now, and I just love it. I just love that style of rock. They use all sorts of instruments in it. They're still going today, even live, and I'm just waiting for a time that they say they're going to come to the UK, because I really would love to see them, and really are one of my favourite sort of rock bands of old that are still rocking today. But yeah, it's a really good film. I would recommend it for those that want to try something different.
Yeah.
But I'm probably might watch another one next week because I've got Inferno in my list to watch as well, which is another one from the Arrow collection, and also I've got Demons, and I need to pick up Demon 2 as well. But I do love those sort of films. They really, really sort of touch a heart in me at the moment with them. But yeah, so anyway, that's me done. What about yourself?
Okay, well, for me, I've very upset to see the end of The Good Place, which is a series I've loved for the last couple of years from when I picked up on it, because
that was our first special, wasn't it? Or second one, believe it or not.
Yeah, I think it was our first or second special. Yeah, it was a great comedy. It was a comedy about the afterlife. I found it just after my father had died, and basically it's about people who wake up, find out that they're dead, find out that they've got soulmates, and they're in the afterlife, but it's not as, The Good Place is not as good as they had maybe believed it would be when they were on Earth, shall we say?
That's it, yeah.
And that's what the story is about. I'm not going to say any more in case you haven't seen it. So it was the last season. We always knew that. And while the last season wasn't, I don't think, quite as good as previous seasons, I did still enjoy it. What I will say is that the episode definitely gives closure to the series in a lovely way as well. It's highly appropriate for the show, the way that they ended it all. And it's been a great show, and I'm really going to miss it. Because I think that the 5 of them, or 6 of them, sorry, who were the main cast, which included like Ted Danson in that as well. I forgot what the other ones are called, but obviously there's the woman who does the voice for Frozen and all of that as well. They all work so well together, their different characters, and they played it all so well, and it was just such a shame to see it go. But I'm really glad I caught this show, because it's been tremendously good. So
yeah,
I
lost
would
faith
recommend
with it just in that 3rd season, was it?
Yeah, I think you've got to stick with the 3rd season a little bit, because it does get better. To some, quite a good sort of
they're
conclusion
back on Earth,
to
aren't
it.
they, at that point, if I remember rightly?
For a time.
Yeah.
For a time. So what I would say is stick with the 3rd season, because it does get better the more that you watch. You go through that. But it's been a lovely show. It's, I love the fact that in terms of The Good Place, there's a profanity filter on. So instead of saying, you fill in what you think the swear word's going to be, but they'll say holy forking shirt balls. As opposed to what what we would have said normally. Do you know what I mean? It's just that the thought of all of these little things, and it's been such a lovely show. So really upset to see that go, but the shows come in and out of your life, don't they? So I'm going to talk about a movie next, which is Ad Astra. So this has been released this week. I actually saw it a couple of weeks ago on digital release rather than, because obviously digital nowadays gets released a few weeks earlier. So it's the near future of the solar system is struck by a mysterious power surges, after nearly being killed by an incident involving Major Roy McBride, who is played by Brad Pitt. He's the son of a famed astronaut H. Clifford McBride, played by Tommy Lee Jones. He is informed by US Space Command that the surges have been traced to what was known as the Lemur Project, which was created 29 years before to search limits of the solar system and to look for extraterrestrial life. After reaching Neptune 16 years earlier, the Lemur Project disappears, and the Lemur Project was run by Brad Pitt's father, Tommy Lee Jones, so he was in charge of this. So, as they think that it's actually the Lemur Project that is emitting these pulses, Roy's recruited to send a message to his father, which there is a response, and it then goes on to a journey about him trying to, save the solar system and everything. Now, this was one of those movies I was really, really desperate to see, because if you looked at the trailer, it looks fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. There's battles on the moon, which I'm going to talk about in a second. There's special effects. There's I thought it was a space elevator going into, up to a space station, because, this is one of the things that they're looking at, possibly of a way of getting stuff into space is by an elevator, hundreds and hundreds of miles long, attached to an asteroid, which is rotating around the Earth. That's the theory. But this isn't. All it is just a really long mask, if you've seen the trailer, which is designed, from the ground upwards out of the atmosphere so that they can detect signals and stuff like that, which is ridiculous. And to be honest, the only reason why that is there is to have a very dramatic scene where Brad Pitt falls off it. So, that... I think one of the problems that I have with this movie is that the movie isn't accurate in terms of physics, generally, because it's saying things like the Lemur Project had to go out to Neptune to get out of the heliosphere. Well, it took Voyager, the spacecraft, 12 years to get to Neptune, but it took it 41 years to get outside of the heliosphere. The heliosphere being the area around the sun, which its sun influences. We've only just had both of them actually escape the heliosphere after decades and decades. So they've got the science wrong.
They got the geography wrong as well, from what I'm reading.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a real letdown. And the fact that you wouldn't build a mast to get out of the atmosphere to get signals. What you would do is you'd build a space station with a big bloomin' mast on it to pick up the signals and then beam them back down to Earth. Not a lot of things don't make sense in this movie. The movie tries really hard to hold the sort of enigmatic atmosphere that 2001 does, and also the movie Moon, both of which do that perfectly. But ultimately, this isn't that type of movie. It tries to be that type of movie, but it isn't. This is actually, when you break down the movie to its core elements, it's not a science fiction. What it's about is it's about the psychological impact of the separation, or the psychological impact on the son following the separation of his father by 30 years. That's what the movie's more about. There's some weird stuff in it, like there's a bit where Brad Pitt goes to a space station and there's a killer space monkey on it, which I did think was a bit, as well. And there's other slightly weird stuff. I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but it's a movie that I think that the trailer tried to say it was one thing, and it's actually something completely different. The movie's really well acted. It's if you ignore the science bit, it's a good story. It's an emotional journey, but it just fails to live up to the promise of that trailer. And also space pirates on the moon. So overall you really felt let down by this then? Yeah, for what I was expecting it to be, based on the build-up of the trailer. I'm not saying it wasn't a bad movie. I'm not saying I wasn't entertained by it, but it did feel like a long movie. Yeah. I'm not sure
That's
what
a
it
bit of a
actually
shame.
looks in at.
Did you pay much on digital for it?
I paid about the cost of a DVD, basically. But it's 4K.
Yeah.
Because I got it on iTunes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't do iTunes, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, now that iTunes app is on the Fire HD stick, or 4K stick,
yeah,
it makes sense to get some movies on there. And plus the fact it was what I really wanted to see for a long time, so I was quite happy to not have the disc and just have it digital for this one, because I had a feeling it wasn't going to be one that I was going to watch loads. I will watch it again, but it'll be every now and again.
Yeah.
So that's that. The next thing is I want to talk about the morning show. So I've spoken a little bit about this in previous.
Yeah, I've seen the trailer for this one. I'm not sure how to take this film, to be honest.
It's not a film; it's a series.
Oh, is it a series? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'll tell you what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking of the film with the three actresses.
Right. Okay. Yeah. This is different.
Yeah,
so, this is Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, and Steve Carell. So the morning show is basically there's two anchors. There's Jennifer Aniston and Steve Carell. Steve Carell's like the, in with all of the bosses, one of the lads sort of thing. Has, shall we say, additional activities with member of the crew, than, because he's in that sort of position. Epstein sort of way of doing things. And anyway, basically, what the morning show does is it gives an inside look into the inner workings of a morning TV show in America, which is rocked by the sudden suspension of one of the show's two main hosts due to allegations of sexual abuse.
Okay.
So basically, the show explores three characters. There's Jennifer Aniston's Alex Levy, who gets wind of the fact that she was maybe on for the chopping line because her ratings were falling. Before Steve Carell's character was axed, and so tries to bid to get control because she's the face of America's morning TV.
Yeah, okay.
The only one that's left. And she's quite hurt, rocked by the departure of her friend, who's also a co-host. Reese Witherspoon is a field reporter, Bradley Jackson, who is basically used as a bit of a pawn by various different characters. Particularly in Jennifer Aniston's Levy character, to bid for power of the show, and she actually gets her to be part of the show by outing her as the next host before it had even been considered who it was going to be. But the problem is that Bradley Jackson, sorry, my throat's getting dry now. Bradley Jackson is very much a hard-hitting, hard news, sort of like if she smells a story, she'll go with it kind of character, which starts to fly directly in line with the trying to play down the fact that one of the main two anchors has been fired for sexual abuse. And then you've got Mitch Kessler, who's played by Steve Carell, and his character is pretty much in denial that he's ever done anything wrong and that he's not used his position as a position of power in order to be able to seduce these women that he's alleged to have sexual, the relations with. And he feels hell-bent on outlining the fact that he's the victim and that he's, being used as a scapegoat, and he's not actually done nothing wrong. But what he's done is he's had he doesn't say that he hasn't had a series of relationships. He has, but it's been consensual. He's never raped anybody or anything like that. And there's this one absolutely great scene where he gets in contact with somebody to try and help him, but he's a contact who's been in a similar situation to him. And then they're sat talking, and it's actually one of the guys off the Three Amigos, not Chevy Chase and not, my brain's gone, the man with the two brains,
yeah. You're on about Martin Short.
Martin Short, yeah, it's him. And he's sort of like playing this character who has also been through sexual abuse allegations. And then when they're talking, he starts saying, well, you know, these women deserved it and all of this, that and the other. And that's when Steve Carell sort of turns around and says, there's a difference between you and me, though. You're guilty and I'm not. But it's all still part of Steve Carell not just owning up to what he's done, in his character. So basically it's about that and about all of the tensions that's behind, you know, about the acceptance of other members of the cast who have turned a blind eye to all of this, about the, senior executives who sort of like paid people off and stuff like that. And that's what the series is about. It's really hard hitting, and it's some of the best TV I've seen.
Oh, really?
To be honest, in terms of certainly for like a more sort of like reality. I know it's not real, but like reality kind of based scenario. Really good, really hard hitting, really well worth watching. You could get a 1 month subscription to Apple TV Plus and binge watch this over a couple of nights. Or if you've just got a new iPhone in, the last quarter, you'll already have a free year's subscription to Apple TV Plus, which is why I've seen it.
Right.
So well worth watching, well worth seeing is this. That's all all I really want to say about that, because I don't want to go into the story any more than I have.
No.
Because I think it's one of those things, if you've got to enjoy this without knowing much about it. So,
one more thing?
Last thing, and I'm going to say this is an ensemble more than anything else, is about the Jason Bourne movies. I've finished watching all of those now.
They're quite old now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. But I picked those up on Apple TV as a set, and they were quite cheap.
You're going a little bit too digital these days, my liking.
Well, yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes and no. The main stuff I will still get on
Blu-ray.
Blu-ray, because 4K Blu-ray, because I want to get that physical disc, that quality and everything. Because personally, I do think that streaming a 4K movie is not as good quality as watching a 4K movie off a disc. I think it's close, but I think that there's a difference. Anyway, I watched them, so it took me years to get through the first Jason Bourne movie, because all that I can say is that it must have been filmed by somebody who was in the middle of a fit.
Yeah, maybe you said last week
about
this, yeah.
Yeah, to the point, actually, that watching a movie used to make me feel seasick.
Okay.
It was moving around that much.
I said it's last week, but I don't even remember it being like that. I don't know why.
I bet if you watched it now, I bet you'd probably think, you've got a point, actually. I feel a bit sick. But yeah, it used to make me feel sick watching a movie, not because it was Matt Damon, but because it was the camera work. It was just, it's sort of like that fly on the wall. I was going to say,
because I remember the scenes where he was jumping from rooftop to rooftop and then through windows.
Yeah.
And do you remember the game, it's just been another game that was delayed, which is the zombie game, isn't it? Which is got that traversing element to the gameplay.
Dying Light.
Yeah. And some people couldn't handle that. They felt sick, didn't they?
Yeah.
Is that the same way, is it, or not? Or my...
I don't know. It wasn't the jumping about that was causing a problem. It was more like when they were just in a close-up. Or, showing a scene with a couple of people doing dialogue. It just looked like the cameraman was drunk when he was filming it.
Yeah.
It does settle down over the course of the movies, thankfully. But yeah, even when I sat and watched the first Bourne movie in this set that I got, I still was feeling, oh God, I'm going to have to pause it for a minute and just have a look at something else to just stop myself from feeling queasy. But I really, really have enjoyed these movies. And I think binge watching them back to back, because it's all so fresh in your memory, is absolutely great for seeing how well these movies work one on top of the other. And, when you look at the Bourne Legacy movie, because that runs through one of the other movies, how well that works as well. Because, you know, what happens in the previous movie is interwoven with that film. So I just think these films have been so good to watch, especially binge watching.
Yeah.
How I would have felt about them after watching them over 4 or 5 years. But, you know, great plot, loved the story.
They were just,
you know,
they're just throwaway, you know, forget your brain, just watch the film with the action sort of flicks, aren't they? So.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, those are the best sort of ones to watch, aren't they?
Yeah.
At the end of the day. You know, because you don't want something too complicated. You just want to, you know, enjoy what you're watching. So, yeah. And that's that, really.
Cool.
So, let's move.
Before we go, have you got any other movies in the pipeline you're looking forward to watching? Anything?
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to watching the, you know, emancipation of Harley Quinn. Definitely, I'm really looking forward to that. I'm hoping that they do a good job of that movie because it, you know, it does look good. I'm looking forward to getting the Joker on UHD.
That's not too far away, is it?
No, it's next few weeks.
Yeah, so
because it's out on digital release now, and I'm sort of like sat there thinking I could be watching that in 4K now.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand occasionally picking something up on digital like I've done. You know, there's a couple of bits and pieces, old films. I mean, I'm doing it for a bit of research or whatever. But yeah, more than not, you want to have the disc in your hand, don't you?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'd much rather have a disc than have a digital copy of a movie any day of the week. But sometimes it's, you know, if you're looking at a sale and you can see a movie that you haven't seen for years, think, I really fancy watching that. It's $2.99. Well, you can't, you know, you can rent a movie for that amount.
Well, funny that,
well.
I mean, when I picked up Happy Death Day on Blu-ray, that cost me, I don't know what it was, I don't know if it was on a deal or something, because I picked up Happy Death Day 2 as well, and there's a few others, well, I was talking about last few weeks ago. But that Happy Death Day only cost me $3.99. Bargain. That's what I said. Well, you know, and that film ain't that old.
No, exactly.
You know, so.
And you know, it's like looking at the Bourne movies. I picked up all of those for like $10.
Would you pick up the Blu-ray box set instead as well now or not?
Probably wouldn't feel like the need to because it's a Blu-ray box set. If it had been, you know, they'd remastered it to 4K, I might consider that, but I don't see the point when it's just the, you know, because iTunes does do good quality streaming. But, I also picked up Forrest Gump as well and watched that.
Okay, yeah, I've not seen
that. Was cheap.
Not seen that in a way. I've got a few films on, excuse me, I've got a few films on Apple, but they sometimes take them away from you sometimes.
Yeah, that is annoyance.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But they all do. All of the digital services do.
No, but Apple is more permanent than some of the others. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when some of those disappear, I think that's a bit naughty.
But the thing with Apple is you can download it and keep your digital copy of it, and you can still play it. Whereas a lot of the other formats, you can't download the digital copy and play it in the same way because it comes up as multiple files, whereas this will just come up as the movie. So that's probably the advantage to Apple. So if you do get wind that they're going to, I don't know, get rid of the Jason Bourne movies, I can download them and I'll still have them. Okay?
Yep.
All right, in that case then, let's go over to listener questions. All right, so listener questions, last part of the show, and Mark's questions as always. Is there going to be anything in the next generation of consoles that will change the way you game?
I think we've already got that with Game Pass at the moment.
That's not in the consoles though, is it?
No, I mean, I can't think of anything that's going to change the way... No, can you think of anything?
I don't think. I think it's more of the same of what's in this generation, but more powerful and higher resolution. I think for a few people, one thing that will change.
Well, it's the loading times for starters on the old SSD, isn't it?
I think it'll be the loading times, but I think that one thing that a lot of people will suddenly start to realise, especially if they've just been console players, is what PC players have been on about FPS and stuff like that. But otherwise, I don't think that these are going to radically change the way that we're going to operate things. I do hope that they do better Twitch support or streaming generally, because if they do that, I think that will improve. I think that will improve my direct streaming from a console.
Well, they've been trying to improve that all the time, haven't they? With the different services.
Yeah, I mean, PlayStation generally does a good job. I just don't like the way that they mess about with the text on the right hand side. That to me is what's wrong with that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I think that PlayStation has the best Twitch streaming at the moment.
It's the easiest way to work, isn't it?
Yeah, whereas the Xbox, you have to mess about with that a
few more holes to jump through.
Yeah, they need to improve that.
I mean, you might well do. I mean, it's still a long way to go. Well, not that long, but it's still quite a few months before November.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so the next question is, I'm not sure what he's asking here. How do the iterations of VR? Are you interested? What do you think? What do you think about the iterations of VR? I think he was asking.
Well, I've only got PSVR, and I also had the one for the phone with Samsung.
Yeah,
and Samsung's all right, but I use that more for movies, 3D movies on that. Not tried that with the PlayStation, to be honest.
Yeah,
and actually, PSVR isn't that bad. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed one night playing Star Trek Bridge Crew, which I think was one of the best VR experiences I think I've had, and also trying the golf games and some of the platform games, and the 2D to 3D. They work pretty well.
I quite like Beat Saber as well. That's a good,
I haven't played that for donk, that one, must admit, but that's quite a good game.
It's the music more. I wish that they had a bit more options in terms of the music, although they have improved.
If they had the licenses like Rock Band used to have, then you'd be all over it, wouldn't you?
Yes, all the time.
But then again, I must admit, I do like the experience, even though it is an experience in Ace Combat. That made my boy feel sick. I told him not to do loop the loop, and he literally had to come off and lie down. He said, "I can't handle that."
No.
And there's me, just off the carrier. I'm just looking around at the water either side as I'm going higher in the sky. It's just brilliant. I think it's one of the. I mean, that it's better than the driving one that Gran Turismo had, because that wasn't as great, to be honest.
No.
It didn't feel as good. But I think one of the best ones has got to be Ace Combat.
Yeah, that was good. I mean, for me, obviously I've tried PC with Windows MR and PSVR as well. I love them both. I think they're both good systems. There's better quality on the Windows one, which was higher quality than Oculus at the time. But I've been sort of looking at the Oculus Quest, because you can stream from your PC to an Oculus Quest. But you don't have to have a PC on it as well, I think, if that's the right version I've got. Because there's the Oculus Go, which is a cheaper one. That is like, you can get it for about £150 now for the 32 gigabyte version. But to me, you only get one small controller, and that doesn't feel like it does anything more than if you've got an Android phone, getting a regular, set of VR goggles and putting those on. I think that it's quite low fidelity or resolution in terms of the graphics. So, I'm not that interested in those ones, but I think that the Quest, because that is higher resolution, and the fact that you can stream from your PC, then you'll be able to play games like Half-Life 3 or Half-Life VR, game that's coming out, the Alex or whatever it's called. So, I do think, though, that it's still, VR's not going to be for everything. I don't think it's ever going to really overtake the way that it was being predicted by some people 2 or 3 years ago. I think that was a very inaccurate guess, because basically a lot of the time you do want to be aware of your surroundings and stuff like that as well. And 2D, it's cheaper. You've already got the equipment there anyway, with your TV or your monitor, and you don't have to worry about a lot of faffing about putting on your headset and all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So, because I don't know about you, but if I want to play PS VR or Windows MR, it's a bit of a waff just getting the headset on, getting in the right place, getting calibrated, all that sort of stuff. I just can't be bothered with it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a rigmarole to get to, but once you're there, it's great. But it's just having the room and space to do it. I mean, I haven't got mine set up at the minute. I'd like to actually get up. I would like it set up just for a couple of different games to try again.
Yeah,
but again, it's where to put the camera is a bit awkward on my setup, for example. But
well, I have the PSVR in the main living room, so I've got lots of space.
But that's in here, so a bit difficult for me. But I mean, there's enough room here for me to sit there and play Star Trek Bridge Crew, for example, or even do probably Ace Combat, which are my two favourite anyway.
Yeah.
But,
I do think as well, though, it's not very conducive if you've got a dog and you're having to wander about, because the dog will then start wandering under your feet, and then the next thing you know, you're falling on the dog.
And your arse over tit, yeah.
Yeah. So it has its advantages, it has its disadvantages, but I don't think it'll take over.
Oh, not at all, no.
Or if ever, if it ever does,
it's always going to be a
alternative.
Yeah, and it's not. I can't think of the right word I wanted to use now. It's not going to take over the world.
No.
Anyway, shall I read Lee's then? Because you did two there.
Yeah, go on then.
So, Lee Doherty's asked us, what's your greatest gaming achievement? His was a platinum trophy in Skyrim.
I suppose it depends upon what you think of being as your greatest achievement.
Well, it depends how difficult they are. I mean, I think one of them I did in Red Dead Redemption 1 was the one where it says complete the game. And to complete the game, you had to find every herb, every animal, including everything else. So that was a bit of a rigmarole to do. But it was done. It was quite wheezy. Just play through the game and just hunt for everything in the woods. And then comparing that to probably, I will say, the idea of I've never done a platinum trophy on the PlayStation, to be honest. But whatever. I'm not bothered about that. But the idea of doing that theoretically on the Xbox was Fallout 3, where I tidied that up completely with all the DLC. Loved it.
Yeah. I mean, I've got I think I've got about 30, so I can't remember how many platinums I've got on the PlayStation.
Yeah, as much as he says that's his greatest achievement, I think sometimes the achievements themselves are the heart. Some of the achievements themselves can be tough ones. Obviously, when you look at the rarity of them.
Well, you look at the one that's only worth about 10 gamer score on one of the Call of Duties, where you've got to go through Air Force One with a timer and everything else that's going on against you. That is really flipping hard.
And wasn't there one I don't know which Call of Duty it was, where you had to shoot every TV in the game?
Yeah, that wasn't so hard though. That was just more knowing where.
Oh yeah, or even going back and doing it. I know it's. Oh, you got to before I disappear this area. I got to look for it. Where's the monitors on the wall or something?
Yeah. I've got 37 platinum trophies. Trying to think what is the. I would say probably the biggest. Well.
So what was in this case? Because
getting a platinum on Spider-Man, I was quite pleased with that.
They're quite generic, aren't they? But is there any there that were really tough to do?
Well, I think they're more grindy, because I'm thinking the Total Perspective Vortex, which is a great reference to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series novels and radio show from No Man's Sky. That platinum, I've got that one as well.
What about single? Because I think it's more the single achievement. I think it sometimes is as much as it's obviously clearing the board on a game. Is there any single achievement you found that you sort of particularly proud of?
the one that I think I earned the most was getting all. Well, it's getting all of the achievements, but it was completing Oblivion and its DLC. You know, the Shimmering Isle.
Yeah, but is there any single achievement in a game like the Red Dead one I had, which was complete the game? That was a single achievement. It wasn't completing all the achievements in the game. It was just to complete the game. You had to get 100% in the game. To do that, you have to, like as I say, you have to find every herb, find every animal in the game, and so on and so forth. Is there anything like that?
No, because to be honest, I've got quite a lot of them that are like that on games, and it's just another one. I can't really think of a single achievement that I've earned that I've spent so much time trying to get that really sticks into my head. I mean, there are ones that I've done that for, but
none come to mind.
In terms of that, none really come to mind. The sort of once I've earned them, that's it. They're done.
Yeah,
because you're never gonna see them again. But in terms of achievements, it was reaching 300,000, as a conglomerate of all of the achievements. I was really pleased with that, getting 300,000 by the end of last year, because I never thought that I would get there within a year from being 240 something at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay.
Last one?
Well, we've got two more.
It's the same one.
Is it? Oh, yes, it is. Sorry. I pasted it in twice. So, Daz Salai says, from Twitter says, with Switch selling so well at 60 million, would you like to see another handheld from Sony or Microsoft?
No, I'm not particularly bothered about handhelds. I think Nintendo got it right through there, all the way from the beginning with the Game Boy. Yeah. But I mean, the PSP and, as much as great they are, I think my handheld is normally my phone sometimes. Some of the games you can get on there is as good as.
Do you know, I'm gonna say this. I don't play mobile phone games. No real interest in them.
I mean, I've done just puzzle games, even with the, occasionally with the missus, like Words with Friends, just a taxing little 5 minutes.
Don't even do those. Don't do anything. But then again,
I've actually played Destiny on my phone, so there you go.
Yeah. Through the PlayStation streaming.
No, yeah, I did, but I also do it on the Xbox.
Right.
With my Bluetooth controller.
Yeah.
So I've mirrored. You mirror the your Xbox to your phone.
Yeah, because didn't you start doing that when we were playing with Mark?
Yeah, but the new obviously with the new cloud gaming that they've got now. You can use your console on your phone.
You can if you're on Android.
Yes, not on iPhone obviously because they're not as good, are they? But yeah.
Yeah, because iPhones won't allow it on a decent system.
iPhone is awful. They're just so locked up in their own little world.
I will agree that they're locked up, but I wouldn't say that they're awful. I love my iPhone 11. It's great.
Well, if you're happy, that's the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. So. Anyway, I think that's it.
Yes, I'm desperate for the toilet. Excuse me to be so basic.
All right, then. So, in that case, then, do you want to do
your
goodbye?
Twitter at Steve007, actually, even though people think it's Steve007, but no, there's no E after V. But PSN is the real Steve007. Xbox is Steve007. And I think my... a YouTube channel for soundtracks is the same as well, but I'm sure you better find that somewhere if you Google searched it. Anyway.
Yeah, okay. So my contact details are HERJUK on almost everything: PSN, Xbox Live, Steam, Twitter, Twitch, all of that. But on Epic, it's Pop Culture Gamers. Don't forget, we've got the Twitter channel, which is at Pop Culture Gamer. We've got our Facebook group. We've got our inquiries at popculturegamers.co.uk email address, our website, popculturegamers.podbean.com. And if you would like to, we'd really like you to leave a review of the show. But also, don't forget, we have a Patreon. So if you want to support the show and ensure that we've got enough money for the hosting, then we have a Patreon that you can subscribe to. And thank you to our Patreons so far. And that's it. That's another show in the bag. Unfortunately, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show, Alan had to work this week, so he won't be with us, but he will be definitely with me doing the Picard spoiler cast tomorrow. Steve, I'm not sure whether or not you're coming to that one.
I'm probably going to be just back from work, so it'll be a bit tough for me at the moment. So.
Okay, so it'll be probably just Alan and me then in that case doing that one, but hopefully you will enjoy that and you enjoyed last week's one as well. So, in that case, it's a good night from me.
And a good night from him.
Good night.
Good night.